I'd like to call the regular council meeting for the town of Bay-Westfield on Monday, August 11th, 2025, to order at 7:01 p.m. We respectfully acknowledge that Grand Bay-Westfield exists on the traditional Woolastookway land. The lands of Wabanaki people are recognized in a series of peace and friendship treaties to establish an ongoing relationship of peace, friendship, and mutual respect between equal nations. The river that runs by our town is known as Woolastook, along which live Woolastookway, the people of the beautiful and bountiful river. We, the staff and elected representatives, pay respect to the elders, past, present, and descendants of this land. Good evening, everyone. I want to take a moment to address the current wildfire situation in New Brunswick. Across the province, communities are facing increased wildfire risk due to the combination of dry conditions, warm temperatures, and shifting winds. There are currently multiple large fires raging across the province, and at least 2 have been classified as out of control. Now, while we are not currently under an active wildfire threat here in Grand Bay-Westfield, we are very much part of the entire provincial picture, and we all have a role to play in prevention and preparedness. So as a town, we're staying in close contact with the New Brunswick EMO and provincial wildfire officials. We're ensuring our local emergency response plans are up to date and ready to activate if necessary. We're monitoring conditions daily, including fire bans, advisories, and sharing that information through our official channels. We're making sure that our public works, fire, and first responder teams are ready to respond quickly should a situation arise. And for residents, here are some important steps that you can take. Please follow all provincial fire bans and advisories. Even a small backyard fire can get out of control very quickly in these conditions. Keep your property fire smart. Clear dry leaves and branches from around your home and store firewood and flammable materials away from buildings. Have a household emergency plan in place, including knowing evacuation routes and having a 72-hour get-and-go bag ready with essential items. And stay informed through official sources, the town's website, social media, and provincial channels. Wildfires can move very quickly, scarily quickly, and prevention is our best defense. And I want to thank our fire departments all across the province and frankly across the country, emergency personnel, and every resident who is taking this seriously and helping to keep New Brunswick forests, New Brunswickers' property, and New Brunswickers themselves safe. So by being safe, by being informed and being proactive, we can help keep our community safe. So thank you, everybody. Record of attendance, we have everyone here, but we have regrets from Councillor Day this evening. Item 5, agenda approval. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield approve the agenda of August 11th, 2025 as presented. And do I have a member? Councillor Bell, thank you. Do I have a second? Councillor Jones, thank you. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you. Item 6, disclosure of interest. Are there any? There being none, we'll move on to item 7, public hearings, presentations, delegations, petitions. 7A, it's a post-secondary bursary presentation, and then we have the new selection as well. And we do have our student Noah Pilkington here with us tonight to receive his bursary. So Noah, come on up. It would be my distinct pleasure to offer you this bursary on behalf of the town.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the. That's what he's going to put his hand on his chest. There you go.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the next part is the draw for the MBCC bursary. And the name is Chloe Johnson. So congratulations, Chloe. Item 7B, QB Local 244 collective agreement signing, and I'll pass this over to the CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. First, I just want to acknowledge that the two leaders of the QP Local 2404 here, the President Jeff Coy. He's been with the town 30 plus years. I don't remember the exact number of years, Jeff, I'm sorry. And then a newbie in comparison, but he's middle of the track now, is Jamie Donald. I think he's with us 2 or 3 years now, if I recall that correctly. Okay, so yes, Your Worship. So we had we spent 4 or 5 hours together going over some details. I just want to say from our part, it was collegial and a good experience. And but anyways, I'm having trouble finding the report here, but it'll come up. And so there's an increase as we anticipated. What I let council know, what I didn't know was what would recognition or retention incentive look like. So we know what that number is, and it came in at an affordable level for us, which is always helpful. Then we cleaned up some language that we had to deal with. And one of the other items that we dealt with is now the workday is still, well, the work week is still 40 hours. The workday is still 8 hours, but instead they're having a half-hour lunch instead of an hour-long lunch. And then around snow control, which has been, it's been a learn-as-you-go process on how do we improve the service there. And one of the sticking points has been sometimes the team is out early or they're out late. When do they get breakfast? When do they get supper, as an example? We've been able to clarify that. And really, just both for Jeff and Jamie for council, the worst thing in an employment relationship is when you have ambiguity, and I think we're able to clarify some of the ambiguity. And I'm sure we're going to communicate more because, we didn't think of something, and we're not sure about what it is. But anyway, so that's it in a nutshell. And is there any questions?
Well, in that case, I'll read the motion. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield approve the Local 244 collective agreement. Do I have a mover? That was the Deputy O'Toole, second by Councillor McIntosh Lawrence. Any further questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Congratulations, everybody involved. Truly appreciate the collaboration and the hard work that it took to get us to this point. You read it here, ready to sign? Come on up. So we have 2 we need to sign? I'm guessing it's where all the most efficient way to do it, but I think that's the way we're going to go for it today. There you go. I'm famous for many things, but stealing pen is not one of them. Although with this one, I would think twice.
In case council is wondering why there's so many signatures, there's a series of MOUs that have been adopted in every collective agreement. An example one is about what happens if someone's a victim of domestic abuse.
Yeah, this one all fully filled out? For Jeff?
Stamp.
Yes.
Yeah, pass it over to you if you want to do that.
Right on.
On everybody, the signatures.
Let's go on.
Yeah, that's true.
Great. Got it on that to do a lot. Yeah, that's all. I think everything you guys do to keep the town moving forward.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. There's Nels right there. Thank you. Alright, now we'll move on to item 7C, budget survey presentation. I'll pass this over to CAO.
Well, so, yeah, our CFO is going to make a presentation as he's getting ready. This is the first time that we've done a budget survey from an administration side. It's very informative, educational, and it'll certainly help us move forward as we deliberate over our budget. And with that, I'll turn it over to our CFO.
Thank you, John. Your Worship and Council, this evening I'm going to walk you through our budget survey. We conducted this in May. This is part of our budget process now, doing public outreach, understanding what the public is looking for in our budget. and it also helps inform them of what goes into the budget as it's pulled together. So before we delve too deep into it, just refresh ourselves on the vision, mission and values of the town. These really help form the budget. So from this we derive the strategic plan, and then the budget helps pay for pushing the strategic plan forward. So whenever we talk about budget, we like to just sit back and reflect upon these. If we look at a timeline of the budget, this starts in May and goes to December, but we like to look at the budget as a whole year process. It's always continuous. We're always thinking about budget and scanning the environment, what's going on in the economy, federally, provincially, and then within the town. So back in May, we conducted a budget survey, and then as we move forward in June and July, we met with department heads, and now we're doing some analysis. We present a rough draft to council at the end of August, and we have a stakeholder meeting in September, October. We have our public information session on the budget before we seek council approval in November. So the survey we conducted was an online survey. We developed 19 questions with a section for comments. It was live online for 17 days, and we had 312 responses, which we felt was a reasonably good response rate. Some of the demographics of people that responded. So we had a really good cross-section and mix of old and new residents. There was a good mix of residents from Ward 1 and Ward 2. This aligned with the population split of the two wards. And then a good variety of ages as well. So we felt it was a really good cross-section of data that was gathered. One of the questions that was asked was, what were the top 5 priorities of respondents? So the top 5, these are in no particular order, were road safety, recreation, fire rescue services, parks and outdoor spaces, and roads and sidewalks. So council, these are areas that council has been making great progress with and allocating funds through the budget in the past few years, and these really do align with the strategic objectives that council has laid out. We asked if residents wanted to maintain or enhance or reduce this level of service that was offered, and 69% agreed that the town should either maintain or enhance the level of services that were offered. The next question was around financial strategies and ranking preferred financial strategy for the town. So the most preferred financial strategy was limiting property tax increases. Then followed by supporting local businesses, securing long-term financial stability, focusing on growth, and adapting to economic changes. So in previous budget presentations, there has been a strong focus on a sustainable, predictable tax increases. So that's something that has been included already in our budget preparations. Supporting local businesses, this has been done reasonably well through the economic development plan that the town has been following. Long-term financial stability. So in the medium term, what we've done is we now have a 3-year operating budget projection, and we have a 5-year capital plan. These tools help us in the medium term, but in the long term, what we really need is number 4, we need growth within the town. The tax base needs to be diversified, and that will really help the finances in the long run. And then lastly, we need to be willing to adapt to economic changes, which is something that we're well aware of and we're constantly monitoring. There was a couple of questions around tax dollars. 64% of respondents believed that they had good value, received good value, or very good value for their tax dollars, and 87% of respondents believed they had a good understanding of how their tax dollars were used. So that means that it tells us that we're communicating adequately where the money is being spent. There was a couple of questions around infrastructure. It was good to see 96% of people believe that it's somewhat important or very important to maintain our current infrastructure, and 86% of people believe that we should be investing in more infrastructure. The next question has definitely been a little bit of a hot topic within the community and something that council's been very interested in understanding, and it was around garbage collection in Ward 1. So there was 156 people that responded from Ward 1, and 156 people of the 216 people in Ward 1, they indicated they would not support curbside garbage collection if that resulted in an increase in property taxes. So that's almost 2/3 of respondents from Ward 1. And lastly, we wanted to gauge if people were interested in budget surveys or how they would want to be how they want the communications around the budget, and almost 2/3 of people liked budget survey. Some people like the website, and a quarter of the people really like public consultation. So we'll take those ideas forward as we develop more budget communications. And lastly, our contact information as we go through the budget process. If any residents have questions or would like to understand how we work on the budget, we're more than willing to discuss that. If council has any other specific questions around the survey, I'd be willing to answer.
Thanks, James. I'll open the floor to questions from council. Deputy Mayor?
Just a more of a comment. I really appreciated this. I think we've been trying to get people in town into the budget process. You know, we put it out there, we put public consultations, and people show up, we put the information on. So I was really pleased with the number of surveys, and I found the comments interesting as well. And I think we can probably think about how we message out, what we're using tax dollars for, what's our responsibility, what isn't, I think, based on what we heard. So, this was a great initiative. So
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other questions or comments?
Just to the first comment, communications is working on those documents about who does what. We're going beyond the cookie cutter template and putting specifically in there, what does Sunday Regional Service Commission do as an example. So we're putting a little bit more effort into it. It's just not a cookie cutter that you may see about broad strokes, but specifics about who does what.
Councilor Burke?
Thank you, Your Worship. I would just like to say thank you for all the effort to put this together. I also enjoyed reading all of the comments from the individuals that took time to give some strong feedback and every feedback. So it was interesting to kind of connect what we're hearing on the street with real life, what they're willing to put in paper. So I found it great that they're paying attention and that we're communicating and that they're listening. So the more feedback, the better, because we can definitely do better. So I think this was a great exercise. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments?
Just like to thank the communications team, the communications manager, and the communications substitute. They did a lot of work in the background pulling this together. So we just want to thank you.
Yes, thank you, James, and thanks to the communications team. It's small but mighty group here, and I really appreciate the work. So with that, the motion is that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file the information as presented. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bellin, seconded by Councillor Burby. Any further questions or comments? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Item 8, minutes of previous meeting. 8A, regular council minutes of July 14th, 2025. The motion is to council the town of Bay-Westfield adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of July 14th, 2025 as presented. That's Councillor Bellman, thank you. Do I have a second? Councillor McIntosh Lawrence. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried, thanks. Email 8B, email poll development officer recruitment, just have the CEO speak briefly to that.
Yeah, just wait the council, because we're not replacing one altogether, we have to spend extra money, so it's, even though we can't control circumstances, it's a different level of service, that's why we're the council. If it had been different, I would have just let you know that we're recruiting, so that's why, and I think in the, if I recall correctly, the report did indicate what our anticipated cost was.
So the motion is that the council of the town of Bay-Westfield ratify the email poll development officer recruitment. Mike Mover, Councilor, Deputy Mayor Toole, and second by Councilor Dalcott. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you. Item 8C, email poll active transportation plan contract, and I will pass this over again to the CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. In an ideal world, we would have liked to have posted this. However, I did talk to groups. We just got slammed for time in developing an RFP and being able to put one out. But working with our the group that did our recreation plan, recreation hub, trail plan, they highly recommended this group. Yeah, ideal world, I wish we had the time to pull it together in RFP and send something out. But as I explained, it's just been challenging to do that. So that's all. So.
Well, I'll read out the motion on the floor. The motion is that the council of the town of Bay-Westfield ratify the email poll active transportation plan contract. Do I have a mover? Councilor Burke, thank you. Got a second. Councilor McIntosh Lawrence. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? That motion is carried. Thank you. Item 9, unfinished business. There being none, move on to item 10, bylaws. There are none. So item 11, new business recommendations. 11A, reserve transfer. I'll read out the motion and pass it to the CEO. The motion is that the council of the town of Bay-Westfield authorize the following transfer. $610,000 transfer from the general revenue fund to the general revenue capital reserve fund. I have a mover on that, please. Councilor Bellman, seconded by Councilor Burpee. John, I'll pass that over to you. Comments open for questions.
Yeah. So before I turn it over to the CFO, this is just for new fleet equipment this past year that council authorized.
Thank you, John. So, earlier in the year, council authorised moving of funds from capital reserves into the operating fund, so for purchasing of equipment. This was ultimately funded by provincial ventures. They've been fully funded now. We received the money, so now it's time to put that money back into reserves. It's really a good reminder of the benefits of having adequate reserves. We save ultimately because we didn't have to go to the bank and ask for interim financing that we would have paid interest on, and interest rates are higher than they had been in previous years. So we did get about earning some interest, but we saved paying interest. So overall, it was a win.
Thank you, James. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. 11B, River Valley Drive intersection review. Don, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, this past spring, I asked the Works Commissioner to do a traffic study. We hadn't done one since 2012. And so they came back with some observations that there was a slight uptick in traffic, nothing to warrant any changes at this time. However, given the developments on Colonel Nays and hope for developments, they are recommending that that we asked, or that we started requesting traffic impact studies. All I want council to do tonight is receive and file, and then we'll revisit the traffic impact study in the fall, and the need for that, and what that means here. Unless the Works Commissioner has anything to add.
No, that's pretty well, Victor and John, yes, so we did do the traffic study, because again, we do that new developments happening in front of us, so we wanted to get updated figures on that. So which we have now as a baseline, so when we do it, we check again with the information prepared.
Thank you very much. What I'll do is I'll read out the motion, and then I'll put the notes for questions. The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file a report and consider the need for traffic impact studies during the fall for implementation in 2026. Do I have a mover? Councilor McIntosh Lawrence, and a second by Councilor Murphy. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you. Just want to commend staff for putting this work forward. I think it's indicative of the forward-thinking staff we have, and council that we have, that we're not waiting until there's a problem, or making sure that we're prepared for the increase in traffic that's going to come in future development. So, thanks to staff on this. Item C, Keel Construction Excavation Permit 2025. I'll pass this over to the CAO.
Thank you, Worship. I want to thank the Works Commissioner for helping us navigate this issue. This is a team effort to bring this across the finish line. So yeah, Keel is asked to amend their permit so that they can do blasting before I assume before the school year starts. We did send this to legal for review because our development officer is off right now, and they amended some of the recommendations, or some of the recommendations a bit, and we've abided by their suggestions, and that's captured in the motion, and it's just an amendment to the blasting permit. And I'll ask the Works Commissioner if he has anything more that he wants to add to that.
Yeah, nothing to add to that, other than the recommendation going through, and it's something that has happened before in the past, and again, we just need to get that approved to go through and make sure that they do it again for the school year and follow all the steps that you.
So, Worship, can I have one more thing?
Of course.
When we sent it to the planning director for review, he indicated that he would prefer us amend the zoning bylaw before we approve this. This is not really a time option, so we've put it in the queue of other amendments that need to be done in the future to review, adjusting it to put in quarries. Our assumption, because the development officer isn't here, is that this is a permitted non-compliant use. And the planning director didn't contradict that.
Yeah,
You want to add
that,
anything to that?
no, that says to say, you want to not perform use of that, for a number of years.
So I'll read out the motion and then open the floor. The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield approve blasting as per condition number 3 on the existing 2025 excavation permit for lands identified by PIDS number 000930088, 00227546, 00227595, 30042899, with the following additional conditions for blasting to include: 1, copy of certificate of insurance and blaster's license to be provided to the town prior to the scheduled blast. 2, require 72-hour advance notice of the scheduled time of blasting to surrounding property owners by the operator to a radius of 600 meters from the blast site, including residents of Birchie Drive, Timberley Manor Drive, and Hillendale Drive, and between civic numbers 79 and 227 Erebus Road, complete with provision for all necessary pre-blast surveys and seismic reporting. 3, operator to provide a minimum of 72 hours notice of the scheduled time of blasting to the town, including council, WorkSafe NB, RCMP, Ambulance NB, Grand Bay-Westfield Fire and Rescue Department, NB Power Transmission Lines, and ELG, which is the Department of Environment and Local Government, prior to a scheduled blast. 4, blasting be limited to weekdays, excluding statutory holidays, in the month of July or August. 5, restricted to clear sky conditions. 6, provide pre-blast audible warnings. 7, handling and use of explosives by qualified powdermen and in compliance with the Occupational Health and Safety Act and regulations. And 8, blasting report by the operator to be provided to the town after the blast, including measurements of concussions not to include 120 decibels and vibrations not to include 1.25 centimeters per second. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bellman, and seconded by Councillor Balcon. Any questions or comments? Councillor Aktash.
I'm just wondering if the current burn ban has any effect on us?
I'm going to defer to the chief.
Not for the second one.
Any other questions or comments from council? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
The chair minded, motion is carried, thank you very much. Item D, NB Southern Railway decibel levels. Again, I'll pass this over to the CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to let council know ahead of time that I have some inaccurate information in the report. It's my understanding that a decibel should be modest in price. It's not. If we have a handheld decibel and someone willing to be around and record it, it would be modest. If we want to put a permanent device in place, it's going to cost $3,000 to $5,000. However, we do get a lot of, I don't know how you want to say, a lot of complaints. We do receive complaints about it. It kind of ticked up again in the summer. This is where I thought maybe we have an objective way of identifying what the decibel level actually is. We could take meaningful steps to, advocate to, to NB Southern, either through the mayor and council or through the public safety committee or the transportation committee with the Federal Regional Service Commission. However, this is for information. I'm uncomfortable spending $3,000 to $5,000 on a decibel meter without further research. I'm just wondering, is that something that council wants us to invest in, or just continue advocating the way that we
Thank you, John. I'm going to open the floor to questions or comments. And I see Councillor McIntosh first, and then I think Councillor Balcon.
I was just wondering, can you rank something like that?
I just found this out today that I didn't have the whole picture for information. That's something to take back and look into. Sorry, just to further address your question. I think my concern would be that if we rent it, that maybe be for a week or two per season. What's the impact in the summer? What's the impact in the spring and winter, in the fall? Because there's different air pressure levels. The temperature makes a difference as well. So we want to get some type of result that is more comprehensive about the total environment.
Councillor
Thank you. That was my question as well, but also I believe there could be some law enforcement agencies that may have decibel readers, recorders, such that they can enforce noise bylaws, motorcycles and certain cars like that. I'm sure they're not used all the time, maybe one could be more. It's just a thought.
I think what we're looking for is something that can be mounted and stationary at the same location. We were thinking, sounding like a maritimer now, where the old caboose used to be.
Councillor.
I think when people try to cross the tracks after training, see training coming, and the training is promoted to blow the horn more often because they want to get on the track. Kids walk across the tracks to blow the horn more because you want to know you're coming, right? So I think in the low ceiling, when the train goes by on a bad, foggy day, you'll hear it more because the ceiling's lower also, so it's paying more. So I think the train noise is as good in here to save on our tracks and our streets too. So.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on?
So we'll look into if we can lease decibel meter or something like
It would be nice to have that data available.
that. Awesome.
Okay, so the motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file the report. Do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Toole, thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Bellman. Any further questions or comments? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Item E, Provincial Municipal Highway Partnership Program, and I'll pass this over to the CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. This has been a little bit complicated. I think, in talking with the mayor, I think what we want to do is just ask that council approve for the time being the culvert, the engineering culvert work on 177, on the narrowest part of 177. And then we really need to look at the financial side of the later years of the program. And I'm specifically concerned that the Works Commissioner has proposed some big spends here. And I just want to remind council, we have the Highland Road, that grant money that we have to use up after the Works Garage is used. And then we start our payments on the new Works Garage, 27 or 28, I don't remember which year. And then the Highland Works, the Highland Road one as well. So we just like more time to address the work that the Works Commissioner brought forward, but also how can we manage this with really spiking the revenue that we need, or the amount of money we may need to tap into to do that work. So just requesting tonight that council authorize us to, so the Works Commission would contact the engineers to prepare for next year, and then we'll come back with a different road event.
Is that we can discuss just,
Okay, right?
Yeah, that's okay, that's all right. We just,
We think about
yeah, the point he was here, I'd like to have a discussion with council this evening on what their views are with respect to the upcoming priorities, so that staff can make recommendations back to council before the deadline in September. So, no specific approvals are to be made tonight, but I would like to hear the voice of council in terms of what they see as the visions of the Road Ahead program for the next 3 years, because now they're asking for 3 years instead of the previous 5. So, we'd open the floor to council at this point in time. Councillor McLaughlin.
Thank you, Your Worship. In speaking to the CAO's past remarks about if we're going to have enough money and large potential expenditures for the future, it's my understanding that the Provincial Municipal Highways Partnership Program, we can lever 80% of the funding for that with our 20%. So I'm a little concerned that there's a concern by the CAO that we may not be able to find enough funds for that 20% and miss the opportunity for leveraging 80%. So I just want to express my concern on that as a first item. Secondly, that provincial municipal partnership, I've never liked it. It never is enough. There's no clause in there for increased cost of asphalt, labor, whatever. So I would recommend that, if it hasn't already been done, that the Union of Municipalities in New Brunswick be an advocate for re-examining that with some escalation clauses or increasing the amount of total money available for the municipalities across the province. Specifically to Grand Bay-Westfield, I, in my 20-some years here living in the town, I have not seen the southern part of River Valley Drive in as unsafe and deplorable condition that it is now. I don't believe that's because we don't know how to fill potholes. I don't believe that's entirely due to climate change. I think it's a combination of several things. But over the last week and a half, I've driven the southern part of River Valley Drive, which is in the business district, and the northern part, which is past the flashing light towards the northern end of town. And I can tell you, I've had to swerve a lot more times and driving the shoulder in this in the southern part, the business end, than in the northern part. So when we made our decision as a council a year ago, where we would spend our capital plan for the shared highway, I don't think River Valley Drive southern part was as bad as it is now. So we have to deal with the current situation. And if there is an opportunity that we can modify our request to the Minister of Transportation to say, look, we're not asking for more money because there isn't any more money in the current arrangement, but we think that because of the following reasons, we would like to reallocate where some of that paving and infrastructure money goes. I think it's prudent that we do that, and I would welcome every councillor, if they hadn't done this yet, to do what Councillor Billmans and myself and the Mayor have done a week ago. Start from one end to the other when it's not busy, so you don't have to stop because of traffic, and just have a look at the relative difference between the southern end of 177 and the northern end. Thank you.
I don't have anything to add, I really agree. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think from what we saw, especially with the comments and the budget consultation, I think everybody's noticed. And I live really at the front, I live right by, there's like a trench in the middle of it, so I have to turn out of my road onto the other side of the road before I can get over. So I think we should take whatever we can, and whether we need to shift priorities, but that road is danger at this point.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councilor Murphy and then Councilor Bell.
I agree. I think based on the survey and the comments that we received, we have to pay attention to what the residents are concerned about, which is that section of the road specifically. There was a lot of comments, and I've heard a lot of comments in person regarding that section specifically. So I agree. I know that there's not enough money, but I think that the road is, certain parts of that road are in bad condition and need prompt attention.
Thank you, Councilor Bell.
You get a lot more traffic coming to Grand Bay and going up to Concrete also, so the more traffic is the portion of the road, the ability to reach that road, track them up and work, more traffic, bigger trucks, and more delivery problems too, so.
Thank you, Councilor John.
I just want to address Councillor Belkin's comments about the town share. For 28, 29, 30, the estimated town share in those 3 years is a total of $1.1 million, compared to usually $100,000 to $200,000. That's a significant hit over about $325,000 per year. That's where our concern is, especially given some of the other stuff we have to do. I also like to draw council's attention to the fact that on the condition, the table that's showing the condition of the Route 177, it doesn't show up until number 97. The first 96 aren't even identified in this table. Wolastook Road is atrocious. And I appreciate the council's saying we need to look after this, and I agree, but the province needs to step up. Because instead of us fixing Wolastook, we're trying to address provincial responsibilities.
I agree.
So please keep in mind when you think about this, our obligation is to bring you the best professional advice. We'll try to be politically sensitive to what we're hearing tonight. But at the end of the day, we're going to bring forward something that is based on the Works Commissioner, the Works Superintendent, and any consultations they may do, and then through the CFO what we can afford. At the end of the day, people talked about sustainability. If we're spending that type of money along with X1, the Works Garage, Highland Avenue, we got to do something about Wolastook. We're going to run out of money at some point. I don't mean to be alarmist, but we need to be prudent. And I totally agree with your comments, Councillor, but just as a reminder, that's all I'm saying.
Deputy Mayor.
Is there a place in your advocacy with the province again, like bringing forward, it's there, that's the reason the road is the way it is, it's been many, many years of pushback, so we're going to get provincial, I know we have been, but your comment regarding, UMNB and things like that, we need to get them in here.
Yes, And just as a reminder, there actually is an active resolution in the amendment that Grand Bay-Westfield put forward successfully 2 years ago regarding proper funding formula for provincially designated municipal highways. We've extended an invitation to Minister Shea Sullivan, Minister of DTI, to come here and see for himself the conditions of the road. And we've requested that he come in person because I think it's very important that he drive the roads and see with his own eyes the type of challenges that we're dealing with.
I'd just like also to remind council, your worship, in 2021, it cost $27 per square meter to put asphalt down. Last year it was $110. I want to commend the works department, especially our work superintendent, by doing our own milling and filling. And I know it's not as smooth as Pandanek Road, but it's approximately, if I recall, $50 per square meter. So, so this is another line we're addressing. People think the Scots invented copper wire. It was the municipal employees, Grand Bay-Westfield, who are making asphalt go from $110 per square meter to $50. So we're doing our best, and it doesn't look that pretty and sexy, but we're getting stuff done with what we have.
I got one question. The filling now is better than pothole. So the filling you're doing adequate. So I'd rather hit a little, even for surface than a pothole. The pothole is real right comparison.
Okay, so if there's no further comment, the motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file the report with staff recommendations to come before council prior to the move ahead deadline in September. Anything you need to add to that?
I was just going to add, and I know this is premature for the work superintendent. We do have some money left over from paving last year. He's trying to develop a plan that we could adequately address those. Is that a fair comment, Chris? Very fair. Yeah. So and we hope to have that before council in September. Sorry, Mr. Commissioner.
And again, I guess in the report, there's two questions. One is for next year's work, which is already funding approved, and then there's the road ahead, which is 28, 29, 30. So 28, 29, 30, I believe that's what you're looking for in September. Can I get something for the change for next year now?
Okay, that's something that.
That's what I was originally talking about, and I forgot. So,
Okay.
so we would like is that the works commissioner's request for the engineering work to be done on the culvert is 560?
561.
561.
At the end of the request, we still have to go back to DPI and see if it's approved. But we have that council obligation to do that. So that was the sort of part one for next year's one. And then for the ahead 2029.
So we can just do that one part.
Okay, so how about we do two motions? Want to do the two motions, or, I mean, it's a bit of a dog's breakfast now here with trying
One
to.
is a dog's breakfast.
So if we can just have clarity on the motion so that we dot all the i's and cross all the t's, that would be great.
So I think what we've done, motion that request approved from DTI to replace
That's 561 then?
Civic 250 culvert replacement with the following three projects in the road ahead plan for 2026 to now include culvert replacement design for 561. I think shoulder stabilization for 696 and asphalt. This is just for 2026. Yeah, so if we just do that first part, so council looks at the report and the motion goes at the council, and then we go down to the period at the end of point number 3, and then why don't we just table the second motion?
Okay, so I don't have a, I have a,
Sorry.
I don't, yeah, no, I read out the motion, but I don't have a mover and a seconder, so there's not a live motion.
No,
And
it's
so
not.
I can read that along. And so I can do this one here, that
Just
right there. it, that's all.
We'll just table this.
Why don't we need to actually take it, because if I don't need it, I'm gonna move on second, or not.
Okay, we can
We good with that procedure? Okay, so the motion is that the council of the town of Bay-Westfield request approval from DTI to replace the already approved project Route 177 Nericus Road Civic 250 culvert replacement with the following 3 new projects under the road ahead plan for 2026 to now include the following under the same funding allotment from DTI. 1, culvert replacement design for 561 Nericus Road. 2, shoulder stabilization across from 696 Nericus Road. 3, asphalt resurfacing, Miles Terrace North to Inglewood Drive. And do I have a mover for that motion? Councilor McIntosh Lawrence, thank you. Do I have a second? Deputy Mayor Toole, thank you. Any questions or comments on that motion? Councilor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Commenting, just for clarification, the reason why we are requesting this change in already approved funding is because we were unable to get written authorization from a landowner to do what we had requested, and we don't want to miss out on the other funding, or on the leverage funding. So the recommendation is to do these 3 projects.
Yes, absolutely, we don't want to lose the 80%.
Second point, Your Worship, I drove that area again today. I completely agree where those culverts are now going to be, and also the shoulder, it's in bad shape, and where it is funding that we would already be getting instead of that other project, it has my support.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? That motion is carried, thank you. And let's go back to the other recommendations.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be the.
All right, thank you, Council, thank you, Bruce and Chris. The next is item 11F, and that's the MetaQuest Wabanaki Traditional Powwow. And I will pass this over to the CEO.
Yeah, I should just say, our rec director is attending Canada Games with his daughter, so we're just on it. And then the coordinator is in pre-approved time off this time. So yeah, we've run into a snag, and we thought we had a program as part of Truth and Reconciliation to bring more stuff forward. So one of the alternatives is to spend the money by increasing our support from Powwow to St. John. I understand Powwow is a success, and so we'd just like to continue supporting that, raising the amount from 1,000.
I will read the motion and open the floor to questions or comments. The motion is that the council of the town of Bay-Westfield sponsor the 2025 Manifest Wabanaki Traditional Powwow for $2,500. Do I have a motion? Councilor Burke, thank you. Do I have a second? Councilor McIntosh Lawrence. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you, Council. I think this is a really good way of forwarding our commitment to truth and reconciliation. So I appreciate the support on that. The next item is 11G, Communications Quarterly Report, and I assume that you will be passing that over to
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you. Yeah, the next step in enhancing the level of service we provide, communications managers come up with a quarterly report. I'm going to let him walk you through it a bit.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Worship and Council. Firstly, I'd like to extend my appreciation to Mohawk and Communications Summer Student with the department this year. We're very fortunate to have Mohawk as a team member again this summer, and I appreciate his assistance with everything, including the creation of this template that I can use on a go-forward basis. In alignment with the town's strategic priority of organizational capacity, this quarterly report will provide an overview of the communications engagement on the town's website, as well as our social media platforms. As you will notice, the report outlines statistics on content interactions, followers gained, links clicked, profile visits, total views, as well as website views. And on this, as I mentioned earlier, on a go-forward basis, similar to other department reports that are presented to council meetings, and it will be a consent agenda item from their mind.
Thank you very much, Brock. I will open the floor to questions and comments from council. Councilor Burby?
I'd just like to also say thank you for this information, because this now gives us a better idea where to focus new information, events, just things that the community needs. So I thought this was great. Good work.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like to echo Councilor Burby's comments. I mean, some of these numbers are eye-popping. So, yeah, I knew that the work that you've been doing and Mohawk has been doing has really increased the engagement and awareness of people, and not just in the town of Bay-Westfield, but I get a lot of compliments from people outside talking about how we're the gold standards for communications these days across the province. So, made really excellent work. I truly appreciate it, because when our residents are informed and they know what's going on, it makes our job a lot easier as well. So this is really great. So thank you very much. So with that, the motion is that the Council of the Town of Bay-Westfield approve the communications quarterly report as of August 1st, 2025. Do I have a mover? Deputy Mayor Toole, thank you. Second, Councilor Burby, thank you. Any further questions or comments? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded, motion is carried, thanks. Item 8, Flavors 5-kilometer race route. And I'll pass that to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Flavors is holding a bit of a festival this particular weekend, and part of that is to have a 5K race route. They've been proactive, talking with the neighborhood, and basically going from Shingle Road and up and around the back. And so, yeah, something to come before council just to approve it. They've done all their work notifying residents and the appropriate agencies as well.
That's great. I will read the motion and then open the floor to questions. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Bay-Westfield approve the race route. And do I have a mover? Councilor McIntosh Lawrence, and a second, Councilor Bell. Any questions or comments on the motion? We should have council. Yeah. I don't think you're gonna find anyone to put a motion up on that, but any other questions or comments from council?
I'll be sick that day.
All right, there being none, all in favor? Contrary minded, motion is carried. Thanks, council. I just want to send a shout out to Flavors. They've really stepped up in terms of not just with their business model, but increasing the fun offerings in the town for people, and it's generally free or at a very low cost. We've got Flavors Fest, which is their music festival coming up soon. They're doing movie nights, they're doing video nights. So really appreciate business owners that go above and beyond to increase the vitality of the community and bring our people together like that. So thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to item 11I, Connection Works. And again, I'll pass this over to the CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is kind of exciting. That's one of the things that was identified in our action plan. It's something we can do to support other local entrepreneurs. And so the deal will be that they'll be using space in the community centrum for up to six workspaces that they can either meet here or work here with clients. So we're going to be providing the space for free. We'll be covering the utility costs, and iSpire will also be donating services to support the IT component of that. And it's just an MOU to be reviewed, and this was given to me late Thursday, and we'll be going forward with this approval. We'll be starting work. I think we're starting work on the kitchen tomorrow, and then they'll be doing other work to set up the space for Connection Works. So we'll be their first satellite branch.
Thank you. I'll read out the motion and then open the floor. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Bay-Westfield authorize the CAO to sign the MOU with Connection Works. Do I have a mover? Deputy Mayor Toole, that was a second by Councillor Murphy. Any questions or comments?
I'm sure it's probably already in the works, but we're gonna be like advertising the
Yeah, that'll be coordinated with Connection Works, and I think they want to do a launch. And Envision St. John is also involved. So we don't want to slow the thunder out. Yeah, so Envision St. John is involved. Connection Works. It'd be nice to get the chamber on board as well.
Any other questions or comments? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thanks, Council. I'm quite excited about this. This was a need that was specifically identified in our economic development action plan way back in early 2022, I think, or end of 2021. So it's nice to see it come to fruition. And it's really interesting to see it dovetail with the budget survey. If you look at the number 2 rank for what is your preferred financial strategy for Bay-Westfield, number 2 is support local businesses, and we're doing it with this initiative. So I'm very pleased to see this move forward. Item 12, bills for payment. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Bay-Westfield authorize the August 11, 2025 bills for payment as presented in the amount of $590,232.77. Do I have a mover? Councillor Melman, thank you. A second. Councillor McIntosh Lawrence. Any questions or comments on the motion? Yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to bring to council's attention that pretty soon the way you receive your council materials will be changing. I'm not sure the exact date or the exact meeting, but we're be adopting East Ride. So that was one of the factors in
Sorry, was that audible?
Yes, it was.
Sorry.
Okay.
Excited.
Yes, I'm surprised that you missed that.
Yeah.
East Ride, and so I'm not sure the exact date that will be rolled out, but both the chief and RDA have been working on that. It should be fairly straightforward. It should be a good experience for council. That's the team.
Excellent. Any further questions or comments? There being none, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you. Item 13, consent agenda. 13A, monthly animal control report July. B, RSSF changes. C, local government statistics 2025. D, strategic plan Q2 report. E, UMND 2025 annual conference AGM. Council need to know. F, thank you card Blanchard family. G, thank you card YMCA Southwestern, and B, 2024 annual report. H, invite United Way campaign kickoff. I, G&B advisory wildfires and consent agenda. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Bay-Westfield receive and file the consent agenda items for August 11, 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bailman, second by Councillor Murphy. Questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. And then we'll move on to item 14, council reports. And Councillor Bailman, would you mind starting us off?
Nothing this
Perfect. Thank you. Councillor Murphy?
Thank you, Your Worship. So July 16th, I announced the summer stage music. We had really great weather and really good turnout, and those are becoming a lot more popular, so I think everybody's really liking those. July 24th, I virtually attended the Zone 3 meeting that was held at City Hall. It's always interesting hearing resolutions that are brought forward and presentations. Last night I attended the Westfield and District meeting regarding the September 6th Music Fest at Four Corners fundraiser. Plans are well underway with growing activities at Gypsy Vendor Market, with proceeds going back into the association. NB Power will be providing hookup before the date, so we will have power for the music. I'd like to thank Wigigu for taking the lead on that, and also especially Adam Burley from Burley Electric for his donation of time and his efforts to get electrical supplies donated. So there'll be more detail depending on that as we have them. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Balcon.
Thank you, Your Worship. On July 19th, I had the pleasure, along with yourself, Your Worship, to attend the official opening of the now called River Valley Lions gazebo down by the Neripus Bridge. As you will recall, weather and time sort of caused the former Kiwanis gazebo to become unsafe, and it was removed for safety reasons, and the Lions Club stepped up. And, it's a great community project, and more importantly, it was a great community event that day. Hot dogs, and it was the official turning over to the community by the Lions Club. And on July 23rd, I attended a TD Harbor Station board meeting, ironically at the Trade and Convention Center. Purposely, the GM, OBG, TD Station, wanted to show the board what facilities, what changes have been made at the Trade and Convention Center, specifically because OBG now is responsible for the management of both of those organizations, and there was a lot of synergy and some savings that are accruing because you're sharing finance, you're sharing some staffing, and so that's it.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McIntyre.
Thank you. July 19th, I also attended the Neripus Bridge gazebo grand opening. It was a beautiful day. There's a beautiful memento that was unveiled. And August 6th, I had the pleasure of announcing the summer stage. It was a wild card. It was well attended and had a beautiful day.
Thank you, Councillor. Deputy Mayor Toole.
Similar. I was at the gazebo opening as well, which is a great space, and they were talking there that a few people have come from out of town and noticed and stopped, and there was an individual who stopped on his motorcycle from another country who came in and was just telling how lovely it was. And I've also had the pleasure of introducing it summer stage a few times this summer, and it has been really packed. I've been really impressed. We had a lot of people, and a few nights there's been an individual there who was selling snacks and stuff too, so it was good. And also, I've been able to, I usually don't get to, but this summer I have been able to get to the market on a few occasions. And it also has been, I think, picked up. It's the times I was there, it was quite busy, and there's been some great food options some dinner and lots of fun as well. So, yeah, it's actually been great. It's just nice to see people out and about.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Councillor, for everything that you're doing. We'll move on to item 15, business arising from keeping of the whole. There being none, we'll move on to item 16, adjournment, and the motion is that the Council of the Town of Bay-Westfield adjourn the meeting at 8:14 p.m. Do I have a mover? Councillor Murphy, do I have a second? Councillor McIntosh Lawrence. All in favor? Chair minded, motion is carried. Thank you.